Hi again. I'm Mr. Ortiz, lesson number 2. This is the 4th of April, year 2000. My telephone number is 404 955 6666. 404 955 6666. My email address, Hassan, Hassan, at GSU, Georgia State University.edu. I'll repeat it. My telephone number, 404 955 6666. My email address, HASSAN at GSU.edu. We are using venture number 3, the Green Book. The Green Book. And in the back here, there's an ISBN number. Okay? And the number is 976 1 108 44 95 7 1. I'll say it again. The ISBN number, 976 1 108 44 957 1. And we're still working on Unit 6, which is entitled Time. The first lesson was on April the 2nd. Now, I want to ask you some questions, okay? And please email me, your answer. How does your culture function in time? Different cultures, different countries have a different concept of time. How do you function in time? How do you function in time? Which is extremely important. Are you punctual? Or do you procrastinate? And lastly, what is time? Okay, what is time? Try to email me and give me your concept, your idea of what time is. Now, I'm going to answer some of these questions personally, okay? Number 1, how does my culture function in time? Well, I was born here in the United States. And the United States, when it comes to time, is a country that's extremely disciplined. Now, my parents were born in Puerto Rico. Now, the Puerto Ricans, the Puertorriqueños, have a different concept of time. So when I was growing up in New York, and there was a function we had to attend, sometimes we used to say, show up at this time, not PR time, not Puerto Rican time, which is usually a half an hour late. Okay? But once again, in this country operates on the clock. Okay? And how do I function in time? I'm extremely punctual. When I have a class, I'm usually there the minimum a half an hour before class, usually 45 minutes to an hour. I'm in class before the students arrive. Are you punctual? Yes, I'm extremely punctual. I'm on time 99% of the time. I'm usually before time. Do you procrastinate? I don't like to procrastinate. If I have a goal or something to accomplish, I want to get it behind me as soon as possible. That's who I am. And what is my concept of time? Okay. Well, we could look at it from different perspectives. I'll share that with you shortly. But first, I want to give you an idea of how some countries function in time. The concept of time in Argentina, Argentina's in South America, Argentina punctuality can seem rude, excuse me. So when it comes to working, okay, they work on time like a lot of countries. But for other events, affairs, if you're there before time, if you're punctual, you may seem rude. Switzerland has a rock solid record of punctuality. Okay, so in Switzerland, they operate on time. Spain, people usually arrive 1 hour late for social affairs. Again, in Spain, people usually arrive 1 hour late for social affairs. Japan is possibly the world's most punctual country. And I'll say it again, Japan is probably the world's most punctual country. In Japan, if you're waiting for a train and it's scheduled to arrive at 10:03, it doesn't arrive at 10:02, it doesn't arrive at 10:04, it arrives at 10:04 on time. Morocco in Africa, okay, they have what they call Moroccan time. They show up when they want to show up, just like I said before, PR time, Puerto Rican time. Germany is like Japan, is extremely punctual. It's a very punctual country. Okay, so email me about your country. Let me know what are the standards in your country when it comes to time. Okay, so let's go to our book, Lesson D, which is on page 76. And this is an exercise on reading. And here's some questions. What are some rules about time in this country? Okay, and what are some rules about time in other countries? Rules about time. Now, number one, right here, there's a QR code, okay? Right here, QR code. You could pause it and maybe connect to it on your phone. Okay, rules about time. That's the title. When you read, you always read the title first. A lot of students, when I ask them to read, they don't read the title. They go right into the passages. Now, you see how large the letters are in the title? It's telling you, please read me. So when there's an article to read, always read from the top, okay? The title. Every culture has rules about time. These rules are usually unspoken, but everybody knows them. In some countries, such as the United States, England, and Canada, punctuality is an unspoken rule. It is important to be on time, especially in business. People usually arrive a little early for business appointments. Business meetings and personal appointments often have strict beginning and ending times. When you are late, other people might think you are rude, disorganized, or irresponsible. These countries also have cultural rules about time in social situations. For example, when an invitation for dinner says 6 p.m., it is impolite to arrive more than 5 or 10 minutes late. On the other hand, when the invitation is for a party from 6 to 8 or a reception from 3:30 to 5:30, you should arrive anytime between those hours. For public events with specific starting times, movies, concerts, sports events, you should arrive a few minutes before the event begins. In fact, some theaters do not allow people to enter if they arrive after the event has started. Other cultures have different rules about time. In Brazil, it is not unusual for guests to arrive an hour or 2 hours after a social event begins. In the Philippines, it is not uncommon for people to miss scheduled events, a class, or an appointment to meet a friend at the airport. Many Filipinos believe that relationships with people are more important than keeping a schedule. When you are living or working with people from different cultures, it is important to know that cultures unspoken rules about time. Without this knowledge, there can be misunderstandings. Okay, so again, this is from the book, page 76. And again, that's the QR code. Okay. Now, a lot of my students love grammar, and I love to help the students learn how to write. It's extremely important to write grammatically correct. If you write grammatically correct, you're going to speak grammatically correct. And let me say that again. If you write grammatically correct, you will speak grammatically correct. If you speak grammatically correct, you're going to write grammatically correct. This book, The Little Brown Handbook, this is the Bible of American English. This book, I believe, was written, the first edition in 1913. 200 English professors got together to put this book, to compose this book, I should say. This is a great book if you want to learn grammar. Shopping around years ago, this book was going for, like, I believe, $150. But fortunately, one of my students last year was able to purchase it used online for $5. And I think with the shipping, it all came less than $10. So please, if you love grammar, please purchase this book. This is a wonderful book to have, and it's a great reference book for professional instructors. Now, in this article, it spoke about the unspoken rule. So, what is the unspoken rule in your country? Okay, I would definitely love to know, okay, how people function in time. Okay. The next portion, in a couple of minutes, we're going to work on looking at what time is. This is an age-old question. What is time? Okay, and try to investigate and look at it and go online and research and try to get other people's opinions, and also look within yourself and write what time constitutes for you. Now, in America, the cultural function of time, especially when it comes to working in America, the majority of companies, like the Fortune 500 companies, usually the higher management, your vice presidents and assistant vice presidents and managers, they're usually military personnel. So a lot of these companies, I know for a fact, I work for a utility company, and the higher echelons were retired admirals, commanders, captains, lieutenants, colonels, majors. Uh, a lot of individuals on the top echelons in companies are former military personnel. And you know that the military operates on time. They're sticklers with time. So this is one reason why America has been very productive, because the higher echelons wants their workforce to operate on time. They're sticklers with time. Okay, so in some of the other countries, uh, the atmosphere is relaxed as far as the time element is concerned. Here in America, companies prefer, if you're coming to work late, they prefer that you call and tell them, I am sick, I can't come in today. These companies don't like tardyism. They don't like people to be tardy. Okay, they prefer that you don't come to work instead of coming to work late. This irritates management. So please get into the mode, the norm of this country. Time is of essence in this country. You have to be extremely punctual. Countries that are developing are countries now that are beginning to operate in a time frame. Okay, I had a situation in Mexico. I was in Cancun real quick, and it was a hurricane, and my plane was delayed for hours and hours and hours, and they changed our gate to another gate, and at this gate it was huge, and they had four stores in the corner and a kiosk in the middle. So I went into one store and I asked them, what time do you have? They gave me a time that didn't correspond with my time. I went across to the other store and asked them what time did they have, and their time didn't correspond with my time or the time of the other store. I went into the other store and their time didn't correspond with either store and my time. I went into the other store and their time didn't correspond with the other three stores and my time. And I went to the kiosk and their time didn't correspond with my time or the time of the stores. And my impression was, how do you run a country like this? How does a country like this flourish when no one knows what time it is? Okay, so that's a short story. Okay, I'll be back shortly.